Those days. I remember those days.
Hello, Vinyl Community. This is Tommy, and welcome to another musical adventure. This adventure is going to be a recent finds video and a couple of thoughts. I'm going to tag on to the end here. I'm not going to do a whole video dedicated to the new Beatles hype just because everybody out there is doing videos, but I do have a couple of thoughts and I'm going to leave you with them. And I don't have a whole lot to show in this video, so I'm going to be brief and we're going to get through these pretty quickly and keep the video pretty short. I kind of try to keep most of the videos short. Hey, here's the standard rigmarole. Subscribe to the channel, please. If you haven't done so, subscribe, down, hit the button, the bell, all that stuff. Comment. I usually try to respond to the comments that I get. And comment, like the video, give it a thumbs up, you know, all that good stuff. And so here's some recent stuff. I've kind of slowed down after the record crawl and all that big fun, but I have picked up a few things and I thought I'd share them with you guys. And some of it's kind of unique. And so anyway, let's get started. Here are, and I'm going to go kind of in order as I got them from the last one, but REM's Accelerate. They've been finally reissuing these later period REM albums on vinyl, and I've been picking them up. And I liked Accelerate quite a bit. I felt like this was a bit of a return to form. I did a video a while back where I talked about these sort of later REM albums and my problems with them. But I liked this album. This was produced by Jackknife Lee. It was a little bit more of a sort of rockin' album, as it were, which I kind of like my REM to rock a little bit. And so, you know, the production's pretty thick on it, but it's a good sounding record. The next one is one I picked up from Rhino's website. This is Runt by Todd Rundgren, his first album, and it's a I guess the understanding I've got on this is that there were a couple of mixes of this album, and this is one of the different mixes. It's a different mix is what it is. I wouldn't even say it's a remix, but there was an earlier version that was a different mix. Anyway, I'm not going to get into great detail about it, but this is a different mix, a different track listing than the one that came out. And I had a few issues with it because the shipping with Rhino. Rhino uses these really cheap mailers, and it's terrible. And so my first one came really damaged and warped. Not a big fan of it. There was a big seam split across the top, and the back of it was coming apart. Well, this one, the back of it's coming apart too. The jacket is really cheap. There's still a little bit of a seam split on it. Not as bad as the other one, but the second one, the record wasn't warped, so I'll give you that one. It was pressed at Third Man with this really nice red vinyl, and I believe these were cut by Chris Bellman, I believe. Yep, Chris Bellman. So they sound really good. Good quality, you know, sounding record. But like I said, a little disappointed with the bad mailer, and it came with the 45, the red 45. We Got to Get You a Woman, which was the big hit off that album, backed with the medley, the famous medley. So very cool, and a nice pickup. And if you're a fan of Todd Rundgren, the next one was one I picked up kind of on a lark, but I saw it and the price of it was really cheap. And I just felt like I couldn't go wrong. But it is the Great 28 by Chuck Berry, the Super Deluxe. The Great 28 is sort of the hits collection from Chuck Berry. Of course, Chuck Berry is one of my all-time favorite artists. But this is the vinyl edition. It comes with this nice book, which I'm not going to go into great detail about. I mean, you know, it's a book. But it has the original 2-record set, which was 28 hits by Chuck Berry. And there are the songs. Of course, you cannot go wrong with any of these songs that were included with the Great 28. The original album came out in 1982. And so this is a reissue of that original album. Also in the box, more great Chuck Berry, which are some other songs. I mean, I've got the Chuck Berry box set on CD, the chess box, and I mean, it's the history of rock and roll. But this has, stuff like No Money Down, You Never Can Tell, Promised Land's on here, and My Ding-a-Ling, the much maligned My Ding-a-Ling. Also included in the set was, oh yeah, Chuck Berry live in Detroit. This was an album, a live recording that was made right after he got out of prison in the early 60s. And he played this little casino in Detroit. And this is sort of him getting back to live performances. Of course, Chuck Berry live is anything. And then it's got the little EP here, the Berry Christmas, Chuck Berry Christmas stuff, which has, of course, Run Rudolph, Run, Merry Christmas Baby, Spending Christmas and Christmas. And I believe this vinyl, I'll show you guys, there's a chest label there, is a colored, red vinyl for you. So yeah, it's a cool set with lots of good stuff in it. And there's the insert if you want to pause and look at that. I don't care, but I'm not going to just go through each track on there. But I mean, it's Chuck Berry and it's awesome. So there you go. Only a couple more to show you here. Paul Williams, Here Comes Inspiration, which is really cool. I'm a big Paul Williams fan. Really getting into stuff, and I'm kind of getting his albums one at a time as I find them, and if they're in good shape. This is pretty great. The first track is Nilsson Sings Newman, which is pretty good. It's Paul doing his best Harry Nilsson impression. But Paul Williams, great songwriter, just fantastic pop songs. I love this guy. And of course, if you can see, I don't know if you can see really well. Yeah, there's a little bit there. It's a promo copy. Yeah, how about that? You can see the little promo stamp in there. And it is a white label promo. So really stoked to get it. Really nice, clean copy. Trying to get Paul Williams. If you have any Paul Williams in your home and you're trying to get rid of it, let me know. I want it. And the next one is, and it'll probably end up being my thumbnail because I think my last several thumbnails have been REM albums. Reveal by REM. This is another one of the 3-piece albums. This is the second of them, and there's your track listing. The big hit on this was All the Way to Reno. Was sort of the big, I guess, hit on there. Again, these later period REM albums kind of get a bit, shady for some folks. I don't know if that's going to zoom in and clear up or not. There we go. There's the little hype sticker for it. But yeah, I mean, as an REM fan, I'm a lifelong REM fan. I've talked about this before. But, I want to get the whole collection. And let's see. A couple of more here. The next one was a really awesome find for me. I went and saw this guy recently in concert. Phil Keaggy, guitarist extraordinaire. Those of you who know Phil Keaggy know he's in Glass Harp. I've talked about him on my channel. This is his 1991 instrumental album, Beyond Nature. It's largely acoustic. Well, it is acoustic. It's not largely, it's completely acoustic. And very cool album, very beautiful instrumental album. He plays with a small sort of string ensemble. And this was a special release that was done in conjunction with Learn from the Masters Music Outreach. There's their little logo. I think you can see it right there. Yeah. And they only made, I don't even know if they've made just about 100 copies of this, but where I went and saw them, there was one of these for sale, and I snagged it up because it's a really great record. And what's cool is after the show, I got Phil to sign it for me. So that is Phil Keaggy's signature. But if you don't know Phil's music, absolutely check it out. He's wonderful. Came with a nice book with some of the original artwork from the album. And the liner notes. So it's a good insert. And I played it, and it's a great sounding copy. And one more, last but certainly not least, and everybody's been talking about it. Mine arrived today, so I am going to finally listen to it. Most of you have probably already heard it, but this will be my first time spinning it. I know the 3 songs I've heard I really like. This is Hackney Diamonds by the Rolling Stones. Wait a minute, is that Hackney Diamonds? It is Hackney Diamonds, but it is the MLB version. I'm a huge Atlanta Braves fan, so I got the Atlanta Braves variant just because, I mean, you know, I'm a sucker for it. It's the same album. There's nothing really special except for the cover art is tied in. And if you go to the Rolling Stones website, there's one for every Major League Baseball team. And so, like I said, I'm a Braves fan. There's Hank Aaron right there, wearing him right now. And so it's the same album, but it's the special MLB edition. So there you go, which is pretty cool. And I think they talk about how, you know, with the MLB stuff, it was because of they've played a lot of the major league stadiums and everything, but it is also on this white vinyl, so that's kind of cool. But I've not heard the album yet, so I'm about to spin it after I get done with this video. So as I'm posting it, you'll probably be hearing about Hackney Diamonds, or I'll be listening to Hackney Diamonds. So I'm looking forward to that. Very cool. So with that, I'm going to transition to just a little final thought about the new Beatles thing. It was announced today. So, you know, everybody's got thoughts and they're talking about it. And I understand it's a new Beatles thing. It's kind of funny. In 2023, we're talking about a brand new Rolling Stones album that's garnered rave reviews. And now we're going to be transitioning over the next week or so into the anticipation and listening to the final new Beatles song. And there's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of thought about it. And I'm not going to get into all that. Today they released the artwork and how it's tied into the Red and Blue albums. You guys already know this, so I'm not gonna go into dive deep into this. But I will say this: I think it's really cool. In 2023, we're going to hear a new Beatles song. Is it the Beatles? Absolutely, it's the Beatles. Why is it the Beatles? Because they're calling it the Beatles. It's John, Paul, George, and Ringo. It's the Beatles. And, you know, you say what you want to about the reunion tracks from 95. I personally like them. Is this new song going to be the greatest thing we've ever heard? No, it's not. I think we're in this weird state where we expect things to just blow our minds. And it's going to be fine. It's going to be a nice song, I'm sure. It's going to sound lovely. If it were horrible and it was bad, they wouldn't be putting it out. I mean, here's the thing you got to think about. The Beatles at this point in their career, just like the Stones, they're not putting out new music to make more money. They don't need more money. There's no they're doing it because they want to. And so why would they bother putting out garbage at this point? They wouldn't. So, you know, let's kind of keep our fingers crossed that it's going to be a lovely song. Is it going to be Let It Be? Is it going to be Hey Jude? Probably not. But is it going to be, you know, Wild Honey Pie or Mr. Moonlight? Probably not. It's probably going to be a nice song. We're going to get to hear John Lennon sing a song for the first time. How cool is that? I mean, let's just sit back and, like, cool our jets. And, I mean, yeah, we can take out our pens and critique later, but it's fine. You know, the cover art. The cover art for the single is horrible. Why could they do any better than that? You know what? They used Ed Ruscha, great pop artist. It's a 45, y'all. I mean, good night. Everything doesn't have to be mind-blowing. It doesn't have to just completely kick you in the gut. I mean, it's the Beatles. It's a 45. I think the artwork is just fine. Is it the best thing I've ever seen? No. Is it absolutely horrible? No. It's fine. It's, like I said, it's a 45 sleeve art. I don't know what people want it to do, to like walk around and congratulate them. I don't know. I think we put our expectations way too high because it has the name Beatles attached to it. And so, you know, it's not like Paul McCartney's going to your house and holding you down and saying, you must like the artwork, you must like these things. I mean, you know, and yeah, we can be critical of these things, but I'm just grateful that we're going to get to hear it at all. I think that's pretty cool. So, you know, let's just take a deep breath and enjoy the fact that we've got brand new Rolling Stones and brand new Beatles stuff in 2023. I mean, that's nuts, right? What do you think? Comment down below. You have any of these releases? What do you think about that? You know the drill. Hey, I appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you next time. Thanks.